This is Roger Stone for American Sovereign Bullion. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost over 20% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to rise. Call 844-272-2428 or go to asbgold.com now to get your free gold and silver guide and learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver delivered to your door or held in a gold IRA today. So go to asbgold.com now. Don't wait for the markets to drop. That's asbgold.com.
Sunday morning. With us is Stephen Fulop, President and CEO of the Partnership of the City of New York. And Stephen, you've been on the job for how long now?
Since early January. So it's been a couple months, and it's been a whirlwind of tax conversations.
Yes, you've had some experiences, and well, happy Passover. I hope things have been going well the last few days, and we'd love to get an update from you. We haven't talked in a few weeks of what the heck is going on in our city. I understand there's a little bit of panic with the S&P and Moody's having a few doubts here and there, and maybe we'll start with that because everything is going to depend on that too.
Look, we have major concerns, as we mentioned last time, over the local economy. It's pretty fragile. You know, the week of April 6th, so this coming week, the partnership C4 is going to start a major kind of media buy, particularly digital, 7 figures, focused both on taxes in Albany to communicate support for the governor's plan and push back on the legislature, and then also some, public advocacy here in the city. So, we're going to ratchet up kind of the overt messaging. So that's really important because I think the governor's been responsible, and we want to make sure people understand that new taxes just going to force people out of here. But, importantly, I think you met the mayor, so you probably have some perspective after you had a one-on-one with him. No?
Well, I met the mayor, and he was. We were cordial to each other, and it was nice to meet him. I enjoyed talking to him, and he is a smart guy. And I said to him, "You're a smart guy. You went to Bronx Science High School," and I said to him, "Well, we're on the eve of disaster, or on the eve of success, because you can go either way depending on what you do." And I said, "I'm here to help." Because we all love New York City, and we're here to help you in any way we can help you. And he understood that, and we agreed to continue discussions.
Do you think he understands that, more costs and more taxes will lead to an exodus of businesses and then only increase the affordability crisis? Or you think he doesn't really understand, or he doesn't really care about that point? I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. Some organization or some socialist organization or some I don't know who it was. They picketed my home. How did they say it in The Godfather? You came to my home. And at noontime on what was it, Tuesday? I went there and confronted them. The bad news is we didn't know if we were going to have 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, 200 people. Well, we had about 20 people, 25 people. We had about 30 police officers, so everything was copacetic. And I confronted them face to face. And they're really after Governor Hochul because they want Governor Hochul to give the mayor the money that he doesn't have to balance his books, and they felt by putting pressure on me, I'm a friend of the governor, that I'll put pressure on her. I said, listen, I talked to everybody. I talked to the mayor, I talked to the president, I talked to the governor, but everybody has to make up their own decisions.
Yeah. Do you think that the governor hold the line? I mean, we've tried to be supportive. As I said, we're going to spend some money in order to advocate publicly, but do you think she ultimately holds the line? I mean, the mayor is framing this really as he's going to be able to get a win by pushing Albany to raise taxes, and I know the governor has held the line. Just what's your gut? Is she going to be able to kind of continue that strong position for the next couple weeks?
Well, it's there's an old expression. I had a Jewish mentor I had many Jewish mentors. And one of the things he taught me, it's reasonable to believe a person will do tomorrow what they did yesterday. You ever hear that one?
Right. Yeah, I did.
Rule number 628, or whatever it is. And the fact is, what happened, she said no on congestion pricing. And then 5 minutes after she gets elected, she said, yes, we're going to put on congestion pricing.
Yeah,
So,
look, I'm more optimistic.
but I want to be optimistic. I want to.
Yeah. I think she understands, because I know a lot of the business leaders have told her that the same way that Apollo announced that they're opening a second headquarters, I can tell you in the last week there's been several in the partnership that have reached out that said they're going down the same road, exploring options in Florida and Texas. And, some of these brands are major New York City brands that have headquarters here for 100 years. And,
well, J.P. Morgan,
they're leaving.
J.P. Morgan has more employees in Texas than they have in New York.
Right.
And
Right.
Jamie Dimon was on Fox News the other day, and he says that they are looking for alternatives all the time, and that the blue states are going to suffer a lot of losses.
Yeah. The challenge is, I just don't know if the fringe far left understands how fragile things are, and that when one person or one big employer leaves, it ultimately increases the affordability crisis, because there's less jobs, less income and revenues for the state and for the city. And so we've been trying to hammer that, because you see people leaving. But I think that when they're protesting outside your house, just because they think that you should apply pressure to the governor, speaks to the fact that maybe they just don't connect the dots, that there is a massive problem, and pushing people out will only increase that problem.
You're absolutely right. And they did not believe, none of them believed the fact that people will move. Businesses will move. I talked to you. I talked to Paul Zuber from the state. And look, you have X amount of businesses in the partnership. He has X amount of business in the state. And then you two, both of you have to give the pulse of the situation to the governor and the mayor.
We do. It's the reason that we're going to start spending some more money overtly at the C4. It's kind of a new space for the partnership to be in. But, it's important, because I think, politics today has shifted, whereas, the advocacy in the public sphere is really, really important. And directionally, you need to communicate broadly that how fragile the economy is, and that, some of these legislators that are pushing tax increases for the sake of tax increases are really not thinking about the long-term best interests of the city and region.
Agreed. Anything else you want to tell the all New Yorkers?
Just wishing everybody a happy Passover and happy Easter, and, the home stretch on the budget. And, we're going to support the governor, because she's out there doing the right thing, and we want to continue to make sure that people understand how fragile the economy is.
I agree. I'm supporting the mayor. I'm supporting the governor. I'm supporting the president. We need checks and balances, and we want to make sure that everything balances.
That's quite a group that you got there. Have a great Easter, John.
Thank you so much, and you have a great rest of the Passover and a great Passover season. And we'll catch up again soon.
Sacco and Felix, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFilas.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.